undefeated, untouchable. The man they call Money built a 50-0 legacy in the ring. Now, at 48, Floyd Mayweather steps back under the lights against none other than Mike Tyson. Is this spectacle or the final chapter in the legend of boxing's greatest showman? To understand what's going on with Floyd right now, we gotta go back to his beginnings. Floyd Joy Mayweather Jr. was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan in 1977. Boxing wasn't just in his blood, it was his inheritance. His father, Floyd Mayweather Sr., was a welterweight contender who once fought Sugar Ray Leonard, and his uncles, Jeff and Roger, were professionals too. From the moment Floyd could walk, gloves were on his hands. But while boxing was in the family, so were hardship and pain. Floyd's childhood was scarred by poverty and violence. His father was often absent, caught between boxing and the streets. His mother struggled with addiction. At times, the young boy slept on the floor of relatives' homes, his life defined by instability. Yet, inside the gym, he found sanctuary. Trainers marveled at his natural reflexes, his speed, and the sharpness of his instincts. He earned the nickname Pretty Boy because, unlike most boxers, his defensive skill left him relatively unmarked. By his teens, Floyd was dominating the amateur circuit. His style was already distinct, a slick shoulder roll defense, sharp counterpunches, and footwork that seemed effortless. He racked up wins and titles, eventually representing the United States in the 1996 Atlanta Olympics. But when he only secured a bronze medal, losing in a controversial decision, Floyd was devastated. He had dreamed of gold. Instead, he left vowing to prove the world wrong. Turning pro later that year, Mayweather's mission was simple: perfection. And from his very first fights, it was clear this wasn't just another prospect. This was a fighter built for greatness. When Floyd Mayweather turned professional, he wasted no time making his presence felt. Within 2 years, he was 18-0, capturing the WWBC super featherweight title in 1998 with a dominant victory over Genaro Hernandez. That fight announced him as not just a rising star, but a future great. From there, Mayweather climbed through weight classes like a chess master, moving pieces across the board. He dominated super featherweight, then lightweight, junior welterweight, and eventually light middleweight. In every division, he faced champions, and in every division, he left with their belts. Fighters with speed couldn't touch him. Punchers with power couldn't land cleanly. Mayweather's style frustrated opponents and dazzled purists, a blend of science, patience, and precision. Critics often called his fights boring, but that was missing the point. Floyd wasn't in the ring to brawl. He was there to win, and to win without risk. His defensive mastery, his ability to control distance, and his genius for reading opponents made him nearly impossible to beat. By the time he retired in 2017, his record stood at 50-0, a number that made him unique in boxing history. But it wasn't just about the wins. Mayweather redefined what it meant to be a boxer in the modern era. He broke pay-per-view records, pulled in hundreds of millions per fight, and became the highest-paid athlete in the world. He wasn't just undefeated in the ring, he was undefeated at the negotiating table too. If Floyd Mayweather's genius in the ring was defense, his genius outside it was business. Unlike many great fighters who left the sport broke or exploited, Mayweather flipped the script. He became his own boss. He founded Mayweather Promotions in 2007, ensuring that every big fight he was involved in wasn't just about purses. It was about ownership. He didn't just fight for promoters. He became the promoter. This shift turned him into the richest athlete of his generation. The money persona wasn't just for show. It was branding. He flaunted cash stacks, luxury cars, and private jets, not only as lifestyle, but as marketing. Fans either loved it or hated it, but everyone watched. That attention translated into dollars, and dollars translated into power. The pinnacle of his business genius came in 2015, when he faced Manny Pacquiao in what was billed as the fight of the century. Though the fight itself was tactical and not explosive, it shattered financial records. Over 4.6 million PPV buys and more than $400 million in revenue. Mayweather's cut? A staggering $200+ million. And then came Conor McGregor in 2017, another crossover fight that critics mocked, but fans couldn't resist. That bout made him another $300 million and cemented him as the king of spectacle. Even in exhibitions, Mayweather turned fights into events. Facing YouTubers, kickboxers, or even former rivals, he continued to draw eyes and paychecks. By now, Mayweather wasn't just a boxer. He was a global brand, proof that perfection and business savvy could turn one man into a billion-dollar empire. For all of Floyd Mayweather's brilliance inside the ring, his life outside of it has always been marked by controversy. Money was more than a nickname. It was a lifestyle that both fascinated and infuriated the public. He flaunted cash stacks, bet millions on sports games, posted videos of duffel bags stuffed with $100 bills, and surrounded surrounded himself with fleets of cars and private jets. To his supporters, it was proof of self-made success, a man who came from nothing and earned the right to show it off. To critics, it was arrogance, excess, and a lack of humility. But materialism was only one layer. Mayweather's personal life often drew darker headlines. Across his career, he faced multiple allegations of domestic violence, serving brief jail time in 2012. These incidents cast a long shadow on his legacy, leading some to argue that his behavior outside the ring made him unworthy of the reverence he demanded inside it. Despite these controversies, his career remained largely untouched. Fans still paid to watch, networks still fought for broadcast rights, and promoters continued to call him the biggest draw in boxing. Mayweather himself leaned into the duality. He told the world that critics only fueled his success, that every headline, good or bad, kept him relevant, and in many ways, he wasn't wrong. Scandal didn't destroy him. It amplified the aura of a man people couldn't look away from. The truth is, Floyd Mayweather's legacy has always been a contradiction, a genius of the sport whose personal life continues to raise questions about how history should remember him. After retiring in 2017 at 50-0, most assumed Floyd Mayweather would vanish into a life of luxury, but Floyd has never been wired for silence. Instead, he reinvented himself in the exhibition circuit, bouts without official stakes, but filled with spectacle, attention, and of course, money. His biggest return came against Conor McGregor in 2017. Though that fight officially counted on his record, it felt like an exhibition in spirit. The UFC superstar stepping into boxing for the first time. It drew massive attention, broke PPV records, and ended predictably with Mayweather outclassing McGregor. After that, Floyd leaned fully into exhibition mode. He fought Tenshin Nasukawa in Japan, dropping the kickboxer 3 times in the first round. He boxed YouTuber Logan Paul in 2021, a bizarre yet entertaining spectacle that drew millions of viewers despite its lack of action. Each fight was met with skepticism. Were they real contests or circus shows? Floyd didn't care. The checks cleared. Fans tuned in. He proved that at nearly 50 years old, he could still headline global events without risking his perfect record. Even chaotic moments, like his 2023 brawl with John Gotti III that ended in a ringside melee, only reinforced the Mayweather brand. Controversy sells. For Floyd, exhibitions weren't about legacy, they were about relevance. They kept him in the headlines, kept his brand alive, and kept the money flowing. But then came the announcement that would blur the line between spectacle and history. The one fight no one thought would ever happen. In September 2025, boxing fans around the world did a double take. Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson had agreed to fight in 2026. Not a video game fantasy, not a rumor, a real, signed exhibition bout. The announcement sparked disbelief, excitement, and outrage in equal measure. On paper, the matchup seemed surreal. Tyson, 59, was decades removed from his prime, but his name still carried the aura of fear. Mayweather, 48, was undefeated and still sharp, but had never fought anywhere near Tyson's weight. It was a clash of eras, of sizes, of legacies. The defensive genius versus the ultimate knockout artist. The reactions poured in immediately. Analysts called it bizarre, promoters called it genius, and fans called it unmissable. Joe Rogan warned that their long-standing animosity might make the fight more violent than anyone expected. Tyson had once ridiculed Mayweather for comparing himself to Muhammad Ali, calling Floyd delusional and a scared little man. Now, they would meet face-to-face in a ring, settling years of bad blood, even if only in an exhibition. For Mayweather, the fight is more than another payday. It's a reminder that he can still command the spotlight, still bend the sport to his will. For Tyson, it's a chance to prove that even at 59, his aura of danger hasn't faded. Whatever happens, Mayweather versus. Tyson isn't just another exhibition, it's a spectacle that redefines what boxing in the modern age can be. Equal parts nostalgia, curiosity, and theater. When the fight between Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson was announced, promoters marketed it as an exhibition, a nostalgic showcase of two legends. But anyone who knows the history between these two men understands this isn't just a friendly spar. There's real animosity here, stretching back decades. The feud began years ago when Mayweather boldly declared himself TBE, the best ever. In Floyd's mind, his 50-0 record, 5 division championships, and unmatched defensive genius made the claim undeniable. But Tyson, who had long revered Muhammad Ali as the greatest, didn't take kindly to Floyd putting himself above boxing's icons. Tyson snapped back in interviews, calling Mayweather delusional and a little man who's scared. The words stuck. Tyson mocked Floyd's size, his style, and his personality, insisting that history would never remember him alongside true legends like Ali. Floyd, of course, thrived on criticism. He brushed off Tyson's comments, pointing to his bank account and his undefeated record as proof that his name belonged at the top. Still, the tension simmered, occasionally resurfacing in interviews and media appearances. Fans speculated that the two men genuinely disliked each other, and now, with this fight, they finally have a stage to settle it. For Tyson, this is about pride. Though nearly 60, he still trains daily, posting clips of blistering combinations that remind the world of the monster he once was. For Floyd, this is about validation, proving that even against one of the most feared men in boxing history, his style, his brain, and his discipline will carry the day. But here's the twist. Exhibitions are supposed to be safe, scripted, lighthearted. Yet Joe Rogan and other analysts have warned that this one could get ugly. The tension between them, combined with Tyson's lingering explosiveness, could lead to genuine violence. Fans sense it too. This isn't Logan Paul or Tenshin Nasukawa. This is Mike Tyson. Even at 59, he remains one of the most dangerous punchers alive. And that danger is exactly what makes this fight impossible to ignore. Whether you believe Floyd will dance his way to another easy payday, or Tyson will finally humble him with one big shot, everyone will be watching. At 48 years old, Floyd Mayweather faces a very different challenge than he did in his prime. His body has aged, his reflexes aren't what they once were, and Tyson outweighs him by more than 60 pounds. On paper, it looks absurd, but if there's one thing Floyd has mastered, it's controlling a fight before it even begins. Floyd's preparation for Tyson isn't about brute force, it's about ring IQ. He's always been a master of timing, distance, and defense, the little details that age more gracefully than raw speed. His camp has emphasized cardio, sharp counters, and footwork drills, ensuring he can move for however many rounds the bout lasts. Unlike Tyson, who relies on bursts of aggression, Floyd thrives on patience. He's planning to weather the storm, frustrate Tyson, and make him swing into air. Tyson, meanwhile, presents a unique threat. Even in his late 50s, his training footage is terrifying. His hooks are still fast, his uppercuts still violent. He may not sustain it for long, but one clean punch could change everything. That's what Floyd's team is preparing for, avoiding disaster while capitalizing on Tyson's age and fatigue. The promotional machine is working overtime to sell the unpredictability. Tyson's team claims he's sharper than ever. Floyd's camp counters that his brain and discipline will expose Tyson's limits. Behind the bravado, both men know the truth. Their reputations are at stake. For Mayweather, this is less about proving physical dominance and more about proving relevance. He doesn't need the money. He's already a billionaire. What he wants is control of the spotlight, to remind the world that even at 48, he's still boxing's biggest attraction. For Tyson, it's about legacy. He has spent years rebuilding his image, from troubled legend to beloved elder statesman. This fight gives him a final chance to recapture the aura that once made him the baddest man on the planet. The training camps, the interviews, the press conferences, all of it builds to a clash that is more theater than sport, but with just enough real danger to keep the world guessing. And that uncertainty is exactly what keeps fans glued to every update, every clip, every rumor. So what does this fight truly mean for Floyd Mayweather, for a man who retired undefeated, who already calls himself the best ever? Why risk even the possibility of embarrassment against a much larger, much older, but still terrifying Mike Tyson? The answer lies in legacy. Mayweather's career has always been about control. Controlling opponents in the ring, controlling negotiations outside it, controlling how the world sees him. But in retirement, control has slipped. The sport has moved on. New stars like Gervonta Davis, Canelo Alvarez, and Tyson Fury dominate headlines. Floyd, despite his exhibitions, isn't the center of attention anymore. Facing Tyson changes that. It makes him the headline again, the name on everyone's lips. Win or lose, he'll be remembered as the man bold enough to step in the ring with Tyson. For critics, the fight is a circus, a cash grab, a stain on his legacy. But for Floyd, legacy isn't about pleasing purists. It's about impact. He's always measured greatness not just by belts or knockouts, but by how many people tune in. And there's no denying this fight will draw millions, fans, skeptics, and casual viewers who wouldn't normally care about boxing. If he wins, he cements his reputation as untouchable, a master who outsmarted even the scariest heavyweight in history. If he loses, well, it's just an exhibition. His perfect 50-0 record remains intact, and he walks away with another 9-figure payday. In Floyd's mind, there is no downside. For Tyson, the stakes are different. He doesn't have an undefeated record to protect. What he has is mystique. If he knocks down Mayweather even once, the moment will live forever, proof that his power never truly faded. That possibility is enough to make this fight matter in ways exhibitions usually don't. In the end, this showdown isn't about championships or rankings. It's about two icons colliding at the twilight of their careers, each trying to rewrite history one last time. For Mayweather, it's about reloading his legacy, reminding the world that money still runs runs the show. For Tyson, it's about proving that fear never ages. And for fans, it's about watching two legends risk everything for nothing and loving every second of it.